All right, guys, we've got some big breaking labor news this morning. And so joining us to make a significant announcement is Michelle Eisen. She's the national spokesperson for Starbucks Workers United. She's also a more than 15-year plus barista at the Buffalo store, correct, Michelle?
Yes, I was at the Buffalo location, the first one to organize in the U.S. back in 2021.
Amazing. Well, welcome to the show. And why don't you just let people know what you guys are up to?
So this morning, Starbucks baristas went out on our largest unfair labor practice strike on the campaign to date. There are over 1,000 baristas right now in front of their stores picketing, protesting the company's refusal to return to the bargaining table with new proposals that meet our remaining demands, and their vicious union busting. And we are in over 40 cities currently and prepared to escalate accordingly if Starbucks does not respond to our demands.
And so tell us a little bit about, it's been several years. We covered the origins of the Starbucks unionization movement here. What's the life like been with the company, acquiescing to certain demands? Have there been union busting? What's the relationship like right now with management?
Okay, well, it's been a wild ride. It's been 4 years. You're right. It has been a significant amount of time. Uh, it's unfortunate that I have to report that the company spent most of that time union busting, violating U.S. labor law left and right. They are the most egregious violators of U.S. labor law in modern history. That's not debatable. They have found liable, guilty over 400 times. ALJ judges across the country have found them guilty of violating workers' rights over 400 times. There are over 700 pending unfair labor practice charges that have yet to be litigated.
Wow.
And just this year alone, they committed 125 more. So back in 2024, the company approached the union and said, hey, we're done fighting. We want to reach an agreement. We are promising by the end of 2024 to reach a fair contract deal with our unionized workforce, as well as resolve the outstanding legal issues. They have failed to do both of those things and instead continued to fight workers every step of the way and violate U.S. labor law. And workers are absolutely tired of it. There are a few remaining demands after 9 solid months of bargaining back in 2024 that the company has just refused to give us any real proposals or solutions on. And those are more take-home pay, like making sure their workers can pay their bills, fixing the staffing issues in our stores, which are just atrocious. If you've gone into a Starbucks anytime recently, you'll see very understaffed stores. And at the same time, baristas are not being given the hours they need to pay their bills. And then continuing to violate the law and refusing to resolve any of these unfair labor practices that are just hanging over their heads and really hurting the brand reputation, hurting their workers. And workers are ready to escalate accordingly. We set a time for the company. We launched the strike authorization vote a couple of weeks ago. We said you need to return to us with some resolutions by November 13th, which is Red Cup Day. It's an iconic day for the company. Here are our demands, which have been very clear to you for the last 6 months, and they failed to return. So workers are in action right now, and they're going to stay out there, and they're going to get bigger and stronger until the company does return.
How many stores do you have unionized at this point, Michelle?
We have won over 650 locations in 45 states and DC. But unfortunately, the company did announce that large round of store closures about a month ago. So there are currently 550 open union locations, and that's over 11,000 Starbucks baristas that are unionized.
And how is the treatment of the unionized stores and baristas compared to the non-unionized?
Quite honestly, every Starbucks barista is suffering right now.
Yeah.
All of the policies that have rolled out under Brian Niccol have only made workers' jobs harder, and they've not improved the environments in these stores. They have not improved the customer experience at all, which is why we've actually only seen our organizing increase under the reign of Brian Niccol. We've organized over 160 stores, I think, since he stepped into that role. So non-union or union, workers are recognizing that this company is not willing to step up and take care of them. They are willing to invest millions upon millions of dollars in other places, like $96 million pay package that Brian Niccol got for just the first 4 months of his employment with the company. They spent $81 million on a 4-day managers conference in Vegas this past June. So we know the company has money. They are obviously not hurting for money. But unfortunately, they're not investing in their hourly workforce, the people who bring in that revenue, the people who create those relationships with the customers that get them to come back into these stores and spend money every single day. They're not putting the money in the right place. And the unionized workers are fighting very hard to improve this business. Like, we want the company to be successful. We want the company to succeed. It would be counterproductive for us to not want that. And we've presented a lot of options to the company to help fix these issues. Wouldn't it be nice to walk into a Starbucks for your peppermint mocha this holiday season and not have to wait 40 minutes, not have to see 2 or 3 baristas running around doing the job of 5 or 6 people because they simply have not allotted enough labor to cover the business that store is doing? It's wild to me when we see, or I hear a store manager say something like, "Oh, well, people just don't want to work." There are baristas who are dying for hours, who are begging to be scheduled so that they can pay their bills, so that they can qualify for these amazing benefits the company says they offer.
Mm.
And they're just simply not being scheduled. So this is not a matter of not having enough workers. It's a matter of not scheduling these workers enough to cover the needs of the business and to make sure that they have the ability to qualify for benefits and pay their bills. So many Starbucks baristas depend on SNAP and Medicaid. Why does a multi-billion-dollar corporation have employees that are subsidized by the government? That just doesn't compute,
Yeah.
right?
Great point.
Great question.
And so we're done waiting around. Baristas are tired. This will get bigger. It will be the biggest and longest strike in company history if the company doesn't return to meet the demands. And we're asking our allies to stand with us. For every single barista who's out there on the strike line, a dozen allies have committed to not cross the picket line and not shop at Starbucks while workers are on strike. That equates to tens of thousands of people who are not going to spend their money at Starbucks this holiday season. So this is a very clear message, and we're ready. We're ready. We've been ready for months. We've been ready for years, really, to settle this contract. We know it can be done for less than a single day's sales. It will cost less to settle a multi-year contract with the union than less than one single day's sales for this company. Less than they paid Brian Nickel by millions of dollars for the first 4 months of his employment. Less than they spent on this 4-day managers conference in Vegas, which was over $80 million.
Michelle, tell us a little bit more about those allies who have committed to standing in solidarity with you, and then also finally, what are you asking of the public?
So we had a sign-on letter that went out from a bunch of different organizations. I believe the total number was in the tens of millions they represented tens of millions of people. And they all said, the folks we represent are committing to not cross the picket line should workers have to go on an unfair labor practice strike. And here we are. And we're not going to spend our money at Starbucks. We're not going to buy gift cards for our kids' teachers. We're not going to go get our peppermint mocha, while we're doing our holiday shopping. We're just going to stay away from Starbucks while workers are on strike. And so we've got student activists at their colleges doing the same thing, talking to their fellow peers, talking to their administrations about not having Starbucks products on their campuses, and we've got labor allies. We've got, the entire U.S. labor movement. We've got the global labor movement standing behind these workers because, we're all the working class. Unless you're in the top 1%, you are a worker and you rely on your employer to compensate you fairly for your labor, And so they have just pledged to not cross the picket line and to not spend their money at Starbucks. And so what we're asking is that people uphold that. We have a site, nocontractnocoffee.org. You can go there. You can get up-to-date information on striking locations. You can sign our pledge to not cross the picket line and to not spend your money at Starbucks while workers are striking. And you can join us on the picket line. Workers are making a sacrifice. This is the holiday season. Workers are sacrificing their time with their families. They're sacrificing wages. They're sacrificing potentially, losing benefits over not going into work, being on strike to protest this company's failure to return with new proposals that solve these issues and failure to resolve these legal issues. And so say hello, honk if you see them on strike, join for a little bit, drop off donuts. Just there will always be more workers in this country than there will be CEOs, and we have to stand together. So this is that moment, and this is an easy win, and I think the company ultimately will see that this can be settled. This can be settled so quickly. We could get back to the table tomorrow. We could solve the issues. We could improve workers' lives. We could improve the experience for the customers, and overall, it will improve the company as a whole.
All right, Michelle, nocontractnocoffee.org is the website. Couldn't agree with you more about the importance of working people being organized. The lack of that organization, I think, is one of the big things this country is suffering from right now. So thank you so much for your commitment and the work that you've done on this front.
Thank you.
Yeah, our
Thanks.
pleasure.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.